crash, chaos, silence in the Red Bull garage, and a track that's ended legends. Just watched Max Verstappen treat Monaco like it owed him money. In a sport where survival is supposed to be the win, Max turned the most unforgiving street circuit on earth into a flex. Not a race, a message. And the scary part is, Monaco didn't break him. It taught him how to break everyone else. Because Monaco isn't like the other tracks. You can't bully it. You can't send it into turn one and pray. The walls are too close, the grip is too strange, the margins are microscopic. One mistake, one touch, 1/2 second of arrogance, and your weekend is over. That's why even elite drivers go into Monaco with a completely different mindset. They don't attack Monaco, they negotiate with it. But Max Verstappen? He didn't negotiate, he invaded. Now before we get to the lap that made the entire paddock stare in disbelief, the 2023 qualifying lap where he stole pole by 0.84 seconds, you need to understand why that moment didn't come from talent alone. It came from something much deeper. It came from the mind behind the madness. Because Max Verstappen didn't arrive in Formula One like a normal prodigy. He arrived like a weapon. And weapons don't care how dangerous the environment is. They only care about the target. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody likes to say out loud. Max wasn't built in a warm environment with balance and encouragement. He wasn't raised on good job, and you'll get it next time. Max was engineered. And the blueprint started with his father, Jos Verstappen, a former Formula One driver who never became what he believed he should have been. And when that kind of ambition doesn't die, it mutates. It finds a new host. Max wasn't trained like a kid chasing a dream. He was trained like someone being prepared for war. Karting in the rain. Karting in the cold. Karting when visibility dropped so low it looked like the sun had turned off. Whether every story is exactly word for word true or not, the point is consistent. The standard was always the same. Perfection wasn't praised, it was demanded. Max himself has described how brutal those lessons felt. How after a bad kart race, his father once pulled into a petrol station, told him to get out, and then didn't speak to him for days. Think about that. Not angry yelling, not a lecture, just silence. That's not parenting. That's conditioning. That's win or suffer. And once you grow up in that environment, you don't fear pressure. You don't fear risk. You don't fear consequences. You fear being average. Most drivers show up to Formula One in their 20s, after years of junior formulas, slowly climbing the ladder. Max Verstappen showed up at 17. 17. Still legally not even old enough to drive a normal road car in many places, but Red Bull threw him straight into the deep end anyway, fast-tracked into Toro Rosso in 2015, and instantly made him the youngest driver in Formula One history. And from the first time he attacked a corner, you could see it. This kid wasn't here to learn, he was here to take. He sent moves on experienced veterans like consequences were optional, aggressive, unfiltered, zero apology, zero hesitation. And it was exciting, but it was also dangerous. Because Max Verstappen wasn't refined yet, he was raw fire. And eventually raw fire touches something that doesn't forgive. Monaco. Monaco is the track that doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care if you're a future champion. It doesn't care if you're the fastest guy on the grid. It doesn't care about Red Bull's arrogance, Ferrari's pride, Mercedes' precision, or McLaren's history. Monaco humbles everyone equally. Because Monaco isn't a racetrack, it's a trap. A beautiful, expensive, glamorous trap designed to punish the smallest mistake instantly. You don't push in Monaco like you do at Spa. You don't find time like you do at Silverstone. You survive Monaco with surgical precision. So of course, the early Max Verstappen didn't understand that. He crashed in 2015. He crashed again in 2016. And then in 2018, he didn't just crash. He embarrassed himself. Final practice. He hits the wall so hard Red Bull couldn't repair the car in time for qualifying. That's not just a mistake, that's Monaco taking your dignity. He had to start from the back. And for a driver wired like Max, that kind of humiliation doesn't just sting, it burns. This was the moment Monaco forced a choice, evolve or be remembered as a talent who never learned control. And what happened next is why the rest of the grid should have panicked. Because Max didn't lose the aggression, he aimed it. By 2019, the reckless lunges were gone. The panic was gone. The messy desperation vanished. What remained was a colder version of Max Verstappen. Still aggressive, but now calculated. Still fearless, but now precise. And when you combine fearlessness with control, you don't get chaos, you get domination. Then came 2021. The year Formula One turned into a battlefield. Verstappen versus Hamilton. A generational war. The two men didn't just want to win, they wanted to break the other one's will. They crashed. They collided. They refused to yield. And it wasn't random. It wasn't oops. It was two drivers who would rather risk everything than accept second place. Max won the championship on the final lap of the final race. That wasn't just a title. That was an unlock. Because once Max Verstappen became a world champion, he stopped driving like someone chasing something. He started driving like someone defending a throne. Then 2022 happened. Verstappen defended his title with record-breaking dominance. He finished the season with 15 wins in 22 races, including the finale in Abu Dhabi, and the entire year felt less like a fight and more like a takeover. But even in that dominance, Monaco still sat there like unfinished business. Because Monaco wasn't just a race he wanted to win. Monaco was the place where his old self had failed again and again. And now we arrive at the moment that turned Monaco from a curse into a warning sign for everyone else. Monaco 2023 qualifying. The tension that day was different, because for once, Red Bull didn't look untouchable. Fernando Alonso, yes, that Fernando Alonso, produced one of those laps that makes you sit up straight. The Aston Martin was alive. The crowd felt it. The commentators felt it. Even Red Bull's garage felt it. Alonso went provisional pole. The circuit erupted. And the story writes itself, right? The two-time champion returns. Monaco, magical. Hollywood script. Except there was one problem. Max Verstappen still had a lap. And here's what makes this terrifying. Going into the final sector, Max was down. Sector 1? Not perfect. Sector 2? Still behind. And at that point, everyone starts assuming it's over. Alonso pole. History. But then Max enters Sector 3, and he does something you're not supposed to do in Monaco. He stops respecting it. He starts treating the walls like they're suggestions. He's brushing them. He's flirting with disaster through the swimming pool section. He's carrying speed in places where everyone else lifts instinctively because they like having functioning suspension. And the car should have crashed. Everyone thought it would. Because that's what Monaco does. It punishes arrogance. But Max didn't crash. He stole pole. Lap time 111.365. Margin 0.084 seconds. From behind, in the final moments, on the most dangerous track in F1. That's not luck. That's execution. And here's the line that basically tells you everything about what kind of lap that was. Over the radio, Max literally said, "Oh my God, I hit the wall 2 times. Not once. Twice. At Monaco." And still finished the lap. Fernando Alonso later admitted qualifying that day reached uncomfortable levels of risk and praised Max for driving super well. That's Alonso basically saying, "Yeah, I went too far." And Max went further. Now, if you're already subscribed, you're probably smiling right now because you love this type of breakdown. The stuff happening behind the lap time, behind the highlight clips, behind the fake, it's just the car arguments. Smart viewers don't watch F1 like it's a cartoon. They watch it like it's chess at 200 miles an hour. And Monaco 2023 wasn't chess. It was Max showing the grid he can win any type of war. Because here's the part nobody talks about enough. Pole at Monaco isn't about speed. It's about nerve. It's about who can drive like a maniac, while still being accurate like a surgeon. And in 2023, Max Verstappen delivered a lap so violent and so precise, it looked like the Red Bull was glitching through reality. And that lap didn't just win him pole. It rewrote how people viewed him. Because it proved something terrifying. Max Verstappen isn't just dominant when everything is comfortable. He's dominant when everything is on the edge of catastrophe. And that's when championships are decided. Now let's zoom out. Because Monaco wasn't a one-off moment. That qualifying lap was a signal of what the entire season was becoming. In 2023, Verstappen went on to produce one of the most brutal stretches of domination the sport has ever seen, setting the record with 10 consecutive Grand Prix wins. Think about that. 10 races in a row, different circuits, different conditions, different demands. And he just kept winning. That's not just fast car, that's psychological demolition. Because when a driver keeps winning like that, you stop racing them for first. You start racing them for second and pretending it's a victory. That's why Monaco matters. Because Monaco was supposed to be the one place where Max couldn't brute force his way through. The one place where caution mattered more than aggression. The one place where history says the track controls the driver. But in Monaco 2023, Max flipped it. He didn't survive Monaco. He made Monaco survive him. Now let's get to the part that makes this story even more dangerous for the rest of Formula One. Max's Monaco evolution is a warning sign that the reckless Verstappen didn't disappear. He matured. He became cleaner. He became smarter, which means the thing that used to hurt him has become his greatest weapon. Because the old Max crashed because he was pushing too hard. The new Max pushes just as hard, but with control. And control is the part you can't copy. That's why the "it's just the car" argument collapses the moment you watch that Monaco lap. If it was just the car, every Red Bull driver would do it. And they didn't. Now I want you to really sit with this question. What do you do in a sport like Formula One when the best driver on the grid is also the one most willing to take the risks nobody else dares attempt? Because that's what Monaco exposed. Max isn't only faster, he's more committed. And yes, that's terrifying, because commitment doesn't show on the timing screen until it's too late. Halfway through this story, let's settle a debate that will explode the comments if people are honest. Does Monaco still matter? Some fans say it's outdated, too slow, too much traffic, it's not real racing anymore, but if Monaco didn't matter, you wouldn't see champions risking their entire weekend for a tenth of a second in qualifying. If Monaco didn't matter, you wouldn't see Fernando Alonso admit he went to uncomfortable levels of risk. If Monaco didn't matter, Max Verstappen wouldn't be clipping walls twice and still finding time. So here's my question for you, and I want real answers, not copy-paste takes. Is Monaco still the ultimate driver test, or has it become a qualifying show with a parade attached? Pick a side in the comments, and if you disagree with someone, tell them why. Because if you're watching this level of analysis, you're not a casual fan. You're here for the real arguments. Now Act 3. This is where the story flips. Because the Monaco lap wasn't just a flex. It was a prophecy. It showed us the final form of Max Verstappen, not the kid who lunged at everything, not the teenager who didn't know where the limit was, but the champion who found the limit and moved it. Monaco used to be his weakness. Now it's one of his deadliest weapons. And that matters because Formula One is heading into an era where dominance isn't supposed to be easy. Rivals are rising, regulation shifts change the landscape. Teams catch up, the margins tighten. But Max has already proven something that should scare the paddock more than any upgrade package. He can win when the track is brutal. He can win when the pressure is suffocating. He can win when the lap should end in the barrier. Because he doesn't drive Monaco like he's trying to survive it. He drives Monaco like he's trying to conquer it. And when a driver reaches that mindset, you're not watching a rivalry anymore. You're watching a reign. Now, could something stop it? Of course. A mechanical failure, a rule change, a teammate problem, a new generation catching fire. But if you're asking which driver is most likely to adapt through any chaos Formula One throws at him, Monaco already gave you the answer. The reckless kid who used to crash here didn't disappear. He evolved. He turned chaos into control. And in 2023, he didn't just win Monaco, he terrorized it. He made the most dangerous track in F1 look like it was built for him. So the next time someone tells you Monaco is boring, ask them why the entire sport held its breath when Max Verstappen entered Sector 3. Because that wasn't boredom, that was fear. And if you want the next piece of this puzzle, there's another video you need to watch right after this. The one that explains why Max isn't just winning races, he's changing what drivers believe is possible. It's on your screen now.